Hey everyone, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. I am Justin, the Rocksmith.
I'm Nico, the male version of the PS1 Tomb Raider, and instead of a pointy chest, I've got a pointy, well, you know.
I'm Dan, the guy who actually shows up with a lot of maps, one for each person.
You would live.
And we are here today to review The Descent. Directed by Neil Marshall, we've got Shauna McDonald as Sarah, Natalie Mendoza as Juno, Mayanna Buring as Sam, and Nora Jane Noon as Holly. So we open with three friends, Juno, Sarah, and Beth, as they are whitewater rafting. After they are finished, Sarah leaves with her husband and child while Beth and Juno stay behind to clean up. Unfortunately, Sarah and her family get into a car accident. She manages to survive, though her husband and child are both killed in the collision. It's kind of a grim beginning, but I mean, hopefully things pick up. So what follows, Nico?
Well, you say that, and they don't. A year later, Sarah reunites with Beth and Juno, as well as three other women, Sam, Rebecca, and Holly. And the group are going cave exploring, spelunking, if you will, at Borum Caverns after a night of drinking, and they just decide to head on out. Upon arriving, the group descend, and at first, things proceed smoothly, and this quickly changes when a cave-in happens, which cuts off the group from their entrance, and at this point they have to explore deeper into the cave in the hopes of finding another exit, which, by the way, they left their maps in the car.
Okay, so first off, that's unfortunate. But Dan, I mean, sometimes you gotta go deeper into the woods to leave the woods.
Or the caves.
Or the caves.
So while exploring, an unfortunate and not so good fact comes to light. Turns out that Juno, who's the group's leader and she kind of organized this whole thing, did not actually take them to Borum Caverns. She took them to a previously unexplored cavern. To compound matters, she did not notify Cave Rescue that they were there, meaning nobody's going to be looking for them. And like Nico said, she purposely left the map in the car, so they're pretty much all fucked.
That's the movie!
They go from bad to worse as they explore deeper into the cave, and Holly falls into a hole and suffers from an open fracture on her leg.
Ouch. That's a big ouch there. But to follow with the trend, things yet again take a turn for the worse. So the group navigate through the cavern with almost no sense of direction when they are then attacked by some subterranean creatures known as crawlers. The crawlers kill Holly by they slit her throat, and the group scatters. Juno actually fights back and manages to kill one of the creatures, but kind of in her battle lust fury, she accidentally mauls Beth by hitting her with a pickaxe to the neck. This thing goes straight through her neck and out the other side.
Yeah.
The center being the other side.
It's pretty visceral.
She had good aim, though.
She did have
right
great
in the
aim.
center.
Unfortunately so.
That would be a critical hit normally.
Yeah.
But Juno, kind of terrified with what she's done, runs away, leaving Beth behind. So, I mean, Nico, things better or things worse?
See, you ask that, and yet. The group now gets picked off one by one, and Sam realizes that the crawlers are blind and find their targets via sound, which makes sense given that they are in a fucking cave. Sarah finds Beth, who is barely alive, amazingly, and Beth tells her that Juno is the one who mauled her and left her for dead. Sarah then gives Beth a mercy killing per her request, and she makes her way through the cave. Meanwhile, Juno has found a way out, but won't leave without Sarah. And after another encounter with the crawlers, she meets up with Sarah, and Sarah asks her about Beth, and Juno, she lies about what really happened.
I see. Hopefully, that doesn't have any ill, foreshadowing for the future type thing. But Dan, I'm sure you'll tell me.
So Sarah and Juno fight off the crawlers, then have a tense stare down. Sarah reveals that she knows the truth about what happened with Beth, and she slashes Juno's leg, injuring her and making it so she cannot escape. Juno is devoured by the creatures, and Sarah does actually escape. She hops into her car and drives away. The movie ends with her seeing a ghost-like Juno in her passenger seat as Sarah screams.
Juno better.
Well, this whole thing is kind of, that was unfortunate. But let's go ahead and let's take it from the top, shall we? So let's start with audio. Dan, what do you pick up on this movie?
I thought in general the audio was actually pretty good. The music to me was one of those where it didn't stand out, but it effectively achieved its job at heightening the tension and everything. I thought the dialogue and everything was pretty good.
All right. Nico, where do you sit in the audio?
I actually liked it. I think the sound of the crawlers was menacing enough, and it sounds like they were in a cave. I mean, I guess I've never been in a cave, but I assume that that's what caves fucking sound like.
Wait, you never been in a cave?
I've never been in a cave. No,
You never went to Luray Caverns?
no. You mean
Fuck
Beret
kind of
Caverns?
Oh, I'm sorry, Bore Caverns.
No, I've never been to Beret Caverns.
I will say about that actually, I feel like some of the echo and things that they had were a little unrealistic because sometimes the characters would shout at each other and there would be a half-second delay, echo back kind of thing. But that wouldn't really happen in a cave when walls are surrounded. There are other times when the echo is extremely close and like a flutter echo kind of thing, and that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, because of all the reflections, I imagine, right?
Huh. The one thing I think for me that I didn't like about the audio so much was at the very end when Sarah is driving away in the car, there's I do not know how to describe the music that comes on there, but I was just so angry at her. If she had actually managed to escape, like successfully, and all in like good way of escaping.
I mean,
a good way though.
She escapes.
She did.
Escaping is
That's a good way of escaping. She lives.
No, man,
How the
she
fuck
left
else?
back. She left back Juno. She didn't deserve the theme song.
Oh.
Okay, she didn't deserve the theme song.
Man,
You're not a
fuck
hero.
that. Juno can just
Hey, later. Say that.
Okay.
Bottle it. 3 wishes. So, anyways, like I was saying, I don't know. I didn't like it so much. But aside from that, I did kind of dig the whole cave sound. And moving over to visuals, I'm going to have to really kind of take myself out of pocket here and say, well fucking done to the set design. Well fucking done. Filming in an actual cave would have been too like hard or dangerous or
I was
whatever.
wondering, how the fuck did they film this?
So these are all actually like sets, which is really fucking cool.
That's impressive.
Because I never doubted that they were in a cave.
Right.
At no point was I ever like, oh, this doesn't look like a cave. Like that shit looked like a cave.
Yeah.
So I really messed with it. I really like that. And they deserve all the fucking credit in the world. Now I'm going to talk about one thing the darkness. Dan, how did you feel about the movie being minimally lit and very dark?
I kind of liked it personally. I mean,
liked it?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it would be like in a cave. And I liked those shots, especially.
I feel like that's a point we keep coming back to.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like especially before they encountered the crawlers and shit, like when they would be crawling through the small tunnels and things, I thought the shots were kind of cool because it was like the characters were crawling towards me. Most of the screen was just black, and then you only saw a little bit of light where that character was coming from. And I personally liked it. I think it did a good job of effectively communicating how small and cramped these caves were in certain parts.
All right. Nico, how did you feel about the generalized, just kind of like lack of light, one could say?
So I did really like it just because it was so suffocatingly black and just, it was oppressive. It almost made the cave a character itself, I thought, in a kind of way. But the one thing that I will say aside from that, because otherwise we're just going to be saying caves, they're dark. The one thing I will say about this film's visuals is as soon as I started playing, I was like, oh, this is a film from the 2000s. Okay, cool. It has that film grain, the slightly washed out color palette, and it looks like it could be in a 3 Days Grace music video. Like, I don't know why no other decade since has, or not since, there's only been 2 decades since.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this time to speak my power and
Do you
say,
not like the darkness?
I didn't like all the fucking darkness.
Sarah.
No, listen, okay? Okay, let me break it down for you. So, okay, I understand it's a cave. I understand it's dark. But there were times they picked and chose when they did the lighting. And for me, I would have liked them to have chosen to have a couple more scenes a little more well lit. I don't mind some of the scenes being suffocatingly dark. Like Dan, the scene where I believe it's Sarah, is stuck right before the cave kind of does a cave in. And she's like trapped and she can't move. And that it's very dark and you can only see the little light coming from her helmet.
Yeah.
I dug
Super
that.
claustrophobic.
That was cool. I like that. But then there's other times where they're just kind of moving about and I can't see. And then sometimes, man, oh God, the action scenes. Shit, man. If I had a penny for every time there was a jump cut, Jesus, I'd be a millionaire.
Oh, bro, they watched Jason Bourne movies right before they filmed this.
You know what's funny? That's
Shaky
literally what
camera cuts.
That's all it was. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I understand not necessarily wanting to show off the monsters too much, especially at the start. But god damn, it'd be like literally, it'd be like cut, 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 cut. Literally, it made me lose my sense of like what was going on, and not in a good way. What happened in the action scene? Now, that being said, I like to balance the good with the bad. And the creature design, which actually I believe comes courtesy of one of my favorite people, at least, who you know him from Dog Soldiers. We also reviewed Howl. I believe he actually directed Howl.
Oh, shit.
Paul Hyett or Paul Hyett. I never know. So the point is, he was behind the creature design, and I fuck with the creature design. They actually look like what I would expect kind of like a humanoid cave-dwelling being to look like. So respect for that. I really did enjoy that. I just had some issues with some of the lighting. And then sometimes they would have like a glow stick, and the glow stick would like light up the whole area. I'm like, bro, come on now.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
There were also scenes where they didn't have the glow stick and the caverns were still like green. So that was a little bit of a continuity error. I will give you that.
So there was that. But jump scares. Dan, Nico, what was good with those?
Holy jump scares, Batman. There were a lot. There was, I think before they even got like into the cave proper, there were like 4 or 5 jump scares.
Straight
And
up.
I was like, oh man, just stop. Like the first one got me. But after that, I was just like, okay, I get it. Oh no, bats fly out of the cave. Oh no, there's bones on the floor. Oh no, there's this character right behind you. Or it's just like, all right, just relax. Like 1 or 2 well-placed and well-done jump scares is as many as you need in a movie ever. And I mean, there are probably throughout the movie, maybe 10 or more jump scares. And
Yeah.
I was going to say, wasn't there one where like she hallucinated the daughter or something? Or she hallucinated someone, and then
That
one of the
happens
crawlers
multiple times, yeah.
it took the place. And I was like, bruh, come on, man.
when you rely on jump scares too much like that, it just cheapens the movie a little bit. And like I said, 1 or 2 well done ones are cool, very cool, but
Right.
there was just too many. And this may be a little bit off topic, but I feel like that's one of the issues I had with the movie is they did the same things too many times. And it just got to the point where I was like, all right, I get this. You've done this enough already. This isn't effective to me anymore.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the creatures now. So this is actually, I think, the first movie in a little bit where we've actually had some creatures to really talk about.
True.
So how do you really, I said I like their design, but I never really heard from you. So Nico, how do you feel about the creatures design? Is it well put together? Did you enjoy their attributes?
Yeah, I mean, they look like a greasy, slicked back, naked Ted Cruz, and that's terrifying. So,
Wow.
I didn't see that.
am I wrong?
I've never imagined, did you say naked?
I didn't say clothed. But yeah, no, the creature design was great. One thing I will say is I really did like the way that they sort of like hinted at them at first, where they had Sarah showing, just like using her flashlight to reveal different parts of the cave, and like you do, and there would be little subtle changes that would appear when she would like, I almost said mouse back over the area, when she would flash back over the area, and there would be like a hand there and then there wasn't. I thought that was subtle in a way that was almost the opposite of the jump scares, so I really don't know what the director was thinking just like tonally there.
Dan, so these creatures navigate by echolocation. I mean, Nico kind of said it makes sense in a cave or cavern setting to use such a device. Do you follow? And how do you feel about the fact that they said that the creatures probably leave the cave at night to go hunting for food?
That's the part that I don't really like. I love the look of the creatures and a lot of what they do,
Yes.
but surely they can also smell. And there were so many times, probably 5 or 6 times in the movie where the characters would be being like hunted by the creatures, and then the characters would just like freeze and just stop, and the creature would slowly like walk towards them and be like directly over them, and they wouldn't make a sound, and then the creature would walk away. At one point, the creature even steps on somebody's head and like spends a good like 10 seconds like standing on the character before walking away. It's like, okay, surely you can feel that the person is breathing. Surely you can like smell this person. Like, come on. I get that they're mainly like driven by sound, but come on. And especially if they're going to go outside and hunt, are they really completely blind? I mean, I feel like if they're going to go outside at some point, then they should have at least a tiny bit of sight anyways.
So I was thinking that the creatures basically were ultra sensitive to light and that they would have limited eyesight, because how else could you hunt by echolocation in the fucking forest where there's all these trees?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do it. You could never do it. That's why bats fucking fly.
That's a good fucking point. How would they kill a deer? How would they kill a moose? How would they kill anything?
Because the creature's main attribute is they can crawl good, right? So it's perfect in the cavern because they can like crawl up on the walls and all this nonsense. But
they do have
outside,
Spider-Man characteristics. I will give them that.
Yeah, but outside, what are you about to do? Climb a tree? That's not going to help you catch a deer. And apparently they caught a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a lot of skeletons and bones down there.
Mm-hmm.
And no one ever thought like, yo, a lot of people are disappearing when they go to this region.
Yeah, they fucking mentioned that in the beginning too, where they're like, oh, this is a new cave system. If anyone ever went missing here, then there would be documentation about it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, clearly fucking not, I guess.
And like, they had the place kind of tricked out. They had like a massive pool of blood just chilling at one part of the cave. And
yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah.
Like, at first, when that scene came up, like, it looks badass and everything, because like one of the characters comes out of the blood and it's like, oh, that's badass. But I was like, wait, maybe it's just like red lighting in the area, because like, how the fuck do they have a pool of blood? But then later she literally is covered in blood because she stepped out of a pool of blood. And I'm like, wait, they really do be like that. They do just have a pool of blood chilling in their fucking cave.
That's hepatitis.
Well, funny that you mentioned that, because the second thing I was going to say is, so in the cave community, we refer to, you can't go into certain caves that have been like sealed or that are really full of bats.
Yeah, because it's sealed, so you can't get in.
Well,
you can't go into a place that has been closed.
Well, I mean, like the, guano, which is the scientific term for bat shit, is it generates like a toxic kind of gas. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You can't just breathe that shit in. It's actually dangerous for you.
Mm.
I mean, I wasn't planning on it.
Well, no, I mean, so can you only imagine, like, those creatures are just taking relentless amounts of shits in that cave, and the toxicity would kill you.
I don't know about that.
All right, Nico, shit all over your house and come back to me.
Yeah, but remember,
Maybe
Nico
I
can
fucking
open his
will.
windows.
Yeah, that's true. I can open my window.
These cave people have tunnels that go outside.
I don't know,
They have
man.
air
Even
circulation.
then,
I can shit in my house and make it a goddamn art exhibit with full open air if I want to. This is America.
nah, trust me, bro. I'm telling you, man. It would fuck them up, bro. Trust me on that.
Okay.
Trust the cave community.
Maybe that's why their smellers don't work.
Here's
So-
smellers.
Yeah, they probably like dulled their nose with shit.
My good old lookers don't do the whole seeing thing too well no more.
So, Dan, and I guess this is another point that you would have to elaborate on. So, this movie has a little subplot going on between Juno and Sarah. Namely, was Juno getting it on with Sarah's man? Is that implied at all?
Yeah. So it's implied a few times throughout the movie that there was an affair going on. Like right at the beginning, the movie opens with them rafting, like we said, and Sarah's husband helps Juno out of the water at one point, and they sort of tenderly touch, and he holds her face a little too long, and
His feeling.
that kind of stuff. I think one or two other times throughout the movie they kind of allude to that, and I don't understand Like, I don't know why it needed to be there because they don't, it really, it doesn't matter. It doesn't play any sort of importance. And I don't know. I don't get it.
So I feel the way you feel, but double. Because I also feel like the first like 10 minutes of that movie didn't need to happen. Like the whole kind of trauma about losing her husband and child literally barely comes up.
That's true.
It barely comes up. She literally hallucinates. I believe her name is actually Jessica.
Yeah, the daughter.
Laughing. Like laughing in the caves at one point.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like that was nothing. And there was literally the only thing that we get about the affair is she reveals like the bracelet, which I guess was a bracelet that the husband gave to Juno, right?
Necklace. Yeah.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah, it was some kind of beaded
Accessory.
artifact.
And I think
bangle.
at one point somebody's like, you don't know what it was like for Sarah to go through that whole traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And then Juno's like, we all lost something in that experience or whatever.
Yeah,
in
she
that
lost her
accident.
side piece. So yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I felt like it was irrelevant, to be real with you. And I just feel like the movie would have benefited from cutting that. And we might have had a little bit of a more streamlined runtime, which I think this movie would have actually benefited from, low key.
Like, this is something where just before the pod, peek behind the screen a little bit here, Dan was talking to us about this point, and Justin and I were both like, wait, what? There was an affair? Hold on, what? So it wasn't incorporated the most cleanly it could have been.
Yeah, like I definitely caught when she was like, we all lost something in that crash. And I was like, Wikipedia? But I mean, I don't really know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I also agree with you at sort of the larger point of the whole beginning part could have just not happened. Like just with Sarah's, husband and child getting murdered, or not murdered, but killed. It doesn't, you're right, that didn't really matter. Like this movie would have been just as effective if that just didn't happen.
Yeah, and they could have started with, and this would have been cool, not cooler, but just maybe interesting. If they had started with the friends in the cabin drinking and talking to each other, and that would have been the introduction. That's how you would really get to know people.
And then like get a flashback in the middle of it. That would have had a better flow, I think.
Yeah, or even if there wasn't a flashback, right? Even if that didn't happen. Even if they were just talking about it, and that was something I didn't necessarily need to see, is all I'm saying. All I really needed to believe was that they were friends going in. That was the main thing. They were friends. So, I don't know. But does anyone here have a favorite character?
No.
I do.
I'm going to have to say Juno.
My favorite character is Juno.
Juno's the fucking worst.
Perfect. So, Nico, why is Juno the worst?
Why would you bring your friends, like, spelunking into, fuck all random cave X and be like, we're gonna manifest destiny this shit. We're gonna name it after you in honor of your dead husband and my dead fuck buddy. Like, why would you? That is so wildly unsafe. What is wrong with you?
To be fair, she had no way of knowing those creatures would be there.
Dear listeners, I want you to know I am giving Justin the most, come the fuck on look I've ever given him in my entire life.
All I'm saying is, real talk, she thought they would, spelunk through the cave, spelunk out, and keep on keeping on. Also, it might not have been the smartest idea to get, wasted and then go cave diving.
Yeah.
And leave the maps?
Because they,
I can't. She's just the worst.
I think she's the worst, and I fucking hated her for the first half of the movie, and then I liked her for the second half. And they gave her a hero's death, I thought.
Well, you know what fucked me up? Sarah, what the fuck? Juno showed her loyalty because Juno was like, I'm not leaving without Sarah. Juno legitimately felt bad. And one thing I will applaud the movie for is they put lines in there to try and fucking gaslight you into thinking that Juno's not trying to help Sarah. Because Juno's like, this is about you and me. This is about us. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Which, in the context of the affair, makes sense because Juno probably felt all kinds of fucked up about it.
Yeah.
So it would make sense why she wasn't there, but that's her friend and she wants to, make up with her and all that shit. So cool. Okay, I dig that. I fucking dig that. And by the end of it, she displays mad loyalty to Sarah. And talking about Juno real quick, I don't even blame Juno for what happened to Beth. That was on Beth. You fucking announce yourself before you sneak up on somebody who's being attacked by monsters.
Okay, no, that is fair.
She
I
is
don't
a
blame her for that
fucking
either.
moron for taking for all the shit before that. She was a moron, purposely leaving the map in the car, taking people where humans have not explored before. That was a load of bullshit. But everything after that, I fuck with her.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And she kept them moving, real talk.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nico, you hate her. I really like her personally. I thought she's the leader. Yo, I like the way she like went for like a jog in the morning and she did like a stand-up split. I was like, oh my God.
She's a peppy motherfucker.
Yep.
Yes. I dig the energy. So did she deserve to get killed by Sarah?
No. Not at that point anyways. I think in general, no. But if I were Sarah, I would have been like, all right, maybe I'll kill you after we escape or do something. But we are real humans. We're getting out of here alive. Fuck these other weird creatures. Once we get out, then I'll deal with you. But like, we're on Team Human right now.
See, I could fuck with that. I could never, I don't think I could ever be cool and just be like, oh yeah, mistakes happen. Like, no, you fucked this up so bad.
Yeah.
So I was also thinking to myself, there's a part where like where Sarah and Juno like 2v like 10 the monsters, and the monsters do them the courtesy of attacking one at a time.
What?
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
They ain't gonna kill
I
no
realized-
moose like that, bro. They gotta have better tactics than that.
Well, my thing was this, like, Sarah like shoves one of the creature's eyes into its head and Juno like snaps one of their necks. And I'm like, yo, wait a second. Could you have just like boxed these things the whole time?
Yeah.
Like when there was like 6 of you, could you not have just like stood your ground and fought them? Because I'm starting to think you could. Also, can I just real quick, and I'm sorry, but I have to mention this right the fuck now. They made a really big deal about how they were gonna run out of flashlights. And then fucking Sarah just taps into like the latest crafting game on Steam and makes a torch. And it's a bright fucking torch. And I'm like, what the fuck? You could have done this the whole time? You knew how to make a torch?
In total darkness.
The dumbest shit. So the creature was approaching, and I forget who said it. Juno had like a big ass glow stick, like king size. And they were like, Juno, throw the glow stick away. And I was like, what the fuck? No, the creature probably sees better in darkness.
It can't see at all, apparently.
Yeah, I was like, yo, come on, what? So I don't know, but that's it. But that's not it. Because Dan, I would say there's differences between America and England, right? Like we drive on the correct side of the road. We use the best possible unit for temperature. Fuck is a Celsius. We just do things, a lot of things we do it right.
Miles, kilometers. Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Feet.
Come on
Yep.
now. Yeah, feet, exactly. Feet make sense because that's how much steps you take, bro. If you got a size 12 boots.
Cups. Fuck a leader.
Cups. Fuck a leader.
You heard it here, folks. Dan and Justin love feet.
Nah,
Feet
bro.
and cups, bro.
Cup and foot. If you could somehow make like a foot from a cup, would you drink it?
I mean, there's already
What kind of
cup and
question
head.
is that?
There's a sequel coming out, Cup Foot.
I know. Cup foot.
Shit, they got it fucked up with Beauty and the Beast.
I know, right? But Dan, so apparently we got 2 different endings between us and our friends across the pond, right? I mean, we already described what happens in the American ending. You know, Sarah pulls the biggest fucking traitor card I've ever seen, slashes Juno and leaves her for dead and goes to the car and escapes. But the British scene, it picks up after that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a minute longer or something where Sarah escapes, gets in the car, drives away, and then realizes that it's all a delusion and she's actually still in the cave and has not escaped and presumably dies there in the
Yeah,
cave.
the creatures come after her, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Good. Fucking good.
Yep.
y'all are some hateful motherfuckers.
Yep.
She deserved it.
Yep.
Listen, Holly looked for her death.
Yep.
Juno told her multiple
Actively.
times. Juno told her multiple times, do it safely. Follow the group. Don't run too far ahead. Holly chased like a random light in the dungeon, which, by the way, if any of you are experts in spelunking or cave diving or chemists, does phosphorus glow like that? Does it glow exactly like daylight? Because it sure as shit looked like daylight from the cave, but it was actually phosphorus. Oh no. So Holly then like falls dead ass straight into a big ass hole in the ground. And I thought she was dead, but no.
There's no way she would have made that out of there alive. Like with her bone was split in two in her leg. Like, nah, you can't go fucking spelunking in a cave like that.
No. I mean, definitely not. But one or two of them were so forgettable. Who was the one who died on the cables? Not the cables, but the ropes, like hanging, and then the monster like ripped off her throat, and then she stabbed it with the knife.
Was that Beth?
Was that Sam? That was not
remember.
Beth. Beth died.
That was Sam, yeah.
Juno killed Beth. That might have been Sam.
That was a weird
One of them was a
scene.
doctor.
Because she's hanging from the rope and from the line or whatever, and the crawler rips her throat open, and then she gets like a burst of energy and like grapples with the crawler, stabs it, and then immediately just like dies. Yeah. And
It's like Last Stand in a game, bro.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe it was just the way it looked, but I don't know. It just looked kind of weird to me.
Well, now we're about to have to look at things for real, because it's time for What Would You Do?
Nope.
So before I begin this What Would You Do, I'm going to ask the group, and we'll answer in unison on 1, 2, 3. Is there any force on Earth that would get us to go fucking cave diving? 1, 2, 3, no.
Nope.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, correct answer.
So-
Correct answer.
But let's say, there was something in this world that you just desperately wanted and were willing to do anything for, and there was someone who was able to give it to you.
They had PS5s in stock in the cave.
We had to go to the bottom of the cave to get a PS5.
Yeah, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like real life dungeon crawl. Yeah. So let's say, and I'm gonna say this, the three of us go in with all our skill set, and we have 1 or 2 NPCs with us, right? So
Sure. Perhaps Bonner and Bean.
there's no way, nothing would make Bonner go into a cave.
No, that's true.
So,
In this, we are united.
so let's say we get to the cave, and Dan, I'm gonna put you in the role of Sarah. Sarah finds a handprint in the cave. Would you notify anyone about that handprint, or would you just keep it on the down low?
Yes, I would. Are you kidding me? Was it like bloody too? Or
Yeah, it was
looked
like a bloody
red. Yeah.
handprint.
Fuck
Yeah.
that. I would see. That's like right when they went in the cave. They like went down at the beginning into like a, I don't know, atrium or whatever. I don't know, some like open area, and they're all
beautiful.
like, "Oh, this
The
is beautiful."
parlor.
I would have been like, "This is beautiful. I'm leaving now. Goodbye." I saw it. Took some pictures for the gram. I'm out.
Yeah.
It's as far as I go.
So, all right, but let's say now that, again, the mystical PS5 at the bottom of this cave, we had to go get it. So we get through the cave, and there's a cave in. So now we have to finish out exploring the rest of the way. Who among us would be the leader leading us through the cavern? Who do you
like
think that would be?
Because
Me?
you've already said that you are part of this cave society.
Well, I'm not really part of the cave society. Only one kind of cave I like, bro. So, Dan, would you
What kind of cave is that?
like Luray Caverns, bro?
Beret Caverns?
Oh shit. That's okay. Luray Caverns is nowhere near where I live, so
Or any of us, really.
True.
I think, to be real with you, it would have to be Dan. Dan has like his nature skill is on point, and the cave, I feel like it just has too many things going on in the cave, bro. I feel like Dan would have to lead the way. Plus, Dan could probably make a torch. I can't make a torch.
Yeah, I could rub
So
a
it
few
would have
sticks
to be-
together for a while.
I would just be
It
the
would-
first to die.
No,
straight
I actually
up.
don't think you would.
Oh?
I think it would be me. Let me explain.
No, see, I think you would box the creatures.
I would box the creatures and I would
Okay,
die, but
yeah.
I would take down a bunch of them with me though. Cause like, yo, first off, can I just say something else? And I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I head out into the wilderness or whatever else like that, I keep a hunting knife on me. Like in America, you can't rock a cutlass. It's illegal. Hint, it's illegal. So you can't bring it with you. Wink, wink. But I mean, like, you are allowed to have a hunting knife of a certain length, depending on your state and local regulations. So I always bring the legal
What if they
size
just
knife
came
that I can.
fucking strapped? What if they all were just completely fucking stacked?
Well, so the movie takes place in North Carolina, and they're all like Scottish, British, whatever.
Which
but
doesn't make sense, but you know.
they came to the highly, highly valued state of North Carolina for cave diving.
Petey Pablo
So-
told him about it.
But I mean, like, I always bring a weapon with me when you go to a place where humans don't reign supreme. Like, this is what you do, right? Like, you bring like some kind of self-defense thing.
Yeah.
At least the hunting knife, it's a valuable tool. You can use it to cut the rope. What were they going to cut ropes with? Scissors? Their hands? The pickaxe?
Yeah, that doesn't track either.
They had pickaxes. They could have fought back with that. And
Yeah.
Juno did. And I think
And that's why I respect
and
her.
Sarah did later too, I think, right?
Yeah, Sarah kind of lost it a little bit, I guess. Like diving in the pool of blood, which by the way, Blade did it better. I'm sorry. But like diving in the pool of blood was really cool and all, but I don't know. I just feel like real talk, we would have seen like the creature and then Nico would have been like, yo, we got to do what we got to do. And then we'd stomp it out. I feel like we'd stomp it out. And you know what? I back us to survive this one. Because the three of us as a united front, I don't think the creatures were ever that strong. They seem to rely on sneak attacks. And so you just got to be ready at all costs.
Also, I feel like none of us would make really stupid decisions like pretty much every character in this movie did.
The creatures are based on sound. Sarah! Sarah! Shut the fuck up. Yo, we're all trying to live, right? Like,
We're also too fucking tall for the caves, though.
yeah, I saw the little,
fact.
I saw like literally the part where Sarah was trying to get through. I saw that and I was like, I'm not fitting through that. Like there is
straight up.
no way I'm fitting through that. I don't know. I'm also like, my shoulders, like no brag, but my shoulders just too wide, dog. Too many days in the gym, son. So I'm gonna say this too, though. I feel like none of us, and Nico, I'm gonna take it back. I don't think you'd kill me here. I don't think you would.
I don't think I would either.
It's been a while since Nico has killed Justin, actually.
Yeah.
I know. I gotta
been a
bring
while.
it back. But I don't think so, only because you know that if I'm still alive, I can protect you from the creatures.
Yeah.
It's true.
So it's in the interest to keep me going. But no, you know, Nico, I would say you'd be like more like the doctor role in this one.
Okay, I could see that.
And Juno, I feel like Juno, Dan would kind of be like Juno, but the opposite. Because as soon as we get down there was a cave in, Dan be like, luckily, I brought about 50 extra strength flashlights. There's a map for everyone. Here's a compass, just in case you get lost.
And here's a hand crank radio. Let's get Hot 99.5 going.
Yeah, like we could like synchronize our watches and let's go. So I don't know. That's what I would think. So time for I feel like we've talked about a lot of criticisms we had with the movie. Did you have anything else? Or are we pretty much tapped out
I
there?
actually do. I think that I know we've been just sort of harping on the fact that, hey, did you know it's in a cave?
It is in a cave.
I will say this is one of the movies that was, for me, very uncomfortable to watch just because of the claustrophobia and the fact that these motherfuckers are hanging from, pittons and whatever is just like... It is a scary act itself, going spelunking, where there's like just pure blackness below you and you don't know how far down it goes. There's a scene where they dropped a rock and it was like a solid 2 minutes before they heard that shit. Like, that is far down. And the struggle that they were all having and getting through various spaces and just movement, I thought that was arguably the scariest part of it, and I did appreciate it for that. Like, it made me viscerally uncomfortable in those scenes, and that doesn't happen a lot.
So Dan, anything from you, or you said your piece pretty much?
No, I echo those thoughts from Nico. I don't know if I'm claustrophobic necessarily, because like in regular everyday life, like I don't have any issues at all. But the thought of crawling through like a cavern or something like that in a very tight space is insanely terrifying to me. Like, so much that like even thinking about it sometimes can make me like shudder, and like I can't. So like that scene where Sarah, the little cave-in, she gets stuck and then the cave-in happens, that's my worst fucking nightmare. And I was yelling at the screen when, who was it, Beth or whoever went back to help her. And she was like, the worst thing that can happen has already happened to you. No, she could be stuck here for like, until she dies of fucking death. Like, can you imagine just not being able to move an inch and just staying
waiting
there
to
until
die?
you just die for like 2 days or whatever? Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, fuck that.
no. So
Fuck
yeah,
that.
I'm terrified of that kind of shit. And nope.
All right. It is my honor to tell you all the score this movie has on Rotten Tomatoes. Ready?
Okay.
This movie has an 86% fresh from the critics and a
Wow.
76% from the audience.
Okay.
I can't let this live. First off, Nico, can you give me your favorite scene in the movie briefly and just what you'd give this movie and, generally why?
I think my favorite scene in the movie is my favorite scene because of the cognitive dissonance, and it's what Dan was talking about earlier, or one of the crawlers is just like fucking palming Sarah's entire face and the torch just like right next to her, like fully on top of her and doesn't notice. Just like, really? Come on, really? It was just unbelievable.
I mean, pretty much. So what would you give this movie?
I would give this movie this is a little bit difficult for me. I definitely feel like I enjoyed the movie more than probably both of you, but it's still something that the more I think about it, the more just kind of like frustrated I get. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I don't think it's great. I'm going to give it a 60.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
That's actually lower than I thought you were going to give it.
That's lower than I thought too.
Dan, can you call for me, please? Your favorite scene and what you give this one?
My favorite scene is the one that I just talked about a minute ago, when Sarah's kind of trapped.
In the cave-in?
Because it made me so uncomfortable, and that was like one of the few times in the movie that I really felt that.
Right.
So that was my favorite scene. As far as the score, I'm also gonna have to give it a 60, actually. I thought the movie got better the longer it went on, because once they saw the creatures and everything, I liked a lot of that. Of course, we did, talk quite a bit about, some of the fallacies with the creatures and everything, but I did enjoy that part a lot better than the first half or so of the movie. So I'd say a 60.
My favorite scene in the movie was probably when Juno is over here just fighting off the crawlers, and Juno is like undefeated against the crawlers until the very end. Like, she takes no L's. She was outnumbered and outflanked. I guess she must have been like technically, like in Fire Emblem, you're standing on the mountain tile, you get dodge. Like, I guess that's I guess that's what she had, because she was dodging the shit out of them. But I really liked when she was just in the one scene with her and Sarah just going like all, but let's do it. And they all just like fucked up the crawlers. Thought that was really cool. I actually, believe it or not, made up my mind before Nico said anything, but I would give this movie a 60. I don't really care much for the story. I don't really care much for the characters. I was actively rooting for about half of them to die, but particularly Holly. What are you doing? From the start, she almost like caves in someone's head with her ass when she just jumps off and fucking like rappels down like super fast, and people have to jump out of the way.
What a way to go it would be.
And just like, I don't know, man, but yeah, it gets a 60. I will say as well, though, let me give credit where credit is due. Paul, Hyett. I pray one day I get to talk to Paul and find out, A, how the name is pronounced, and B, just the process for like coming up with some of these creatures and like where the inspirations really do come from, because I love the fucking design and aesthetic. A massive, massive, massive shout out also has to go to all the people who really helped design the set, the stage, a lot of the lighting, despite the fact that I didn't like it.
Phenomenal.
A lot of work had to go into that. It's fucking difficult to do some of the shit they really did.
Yeah.
I really also, and I know what, I also really say this, I adore the scene where, fuck me, I forget who it is. Is it Sam? Someone is like making their way. They have to create like a rope to get from one side of a crevice to another. And they're like barely hanging on by buckles and straining to get across.
That was
so
terrifying.
fucking cool. Like, that was really fucking cool. I believed it. I was there for that. So that really brings it up from some otherwise rather disappointing things. So it's a 60 from me. Would you look at that?
I was not expecting you to rate it that high, Justin.
Same, actually.
I wasn't expecting you to rate it that low.
That's fair. I wasn't either, to be honest.
I was expecting Dan to rate it exactly that.
Okay.
You predictable motherfucker.
Any last thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, do we recommend this?
Fuck. All right. So I'm going to keep it real with you. Right? I would.
Okay.
I think I would too.
I would, solely for the feeling of claustrophobia that this film so perfectly encapsulates, better than anything
Yes.
else I've seen.
Yes, agreed. And I mean, real talk, I feel like I might have. This was not a movie where I got to do the whole Justin thing where I turn off all my lights and lock myself up in a dark room with headphones on and I watch it. I wasn't able to do that this time. And I feel like I might have enjoyed it more. So, Golden Seal of Approval, 1, 2, 3. No, not really.
No.
All right. And I thought so with the 60. So, that's been it from your favorite horror podcasters, Dan, Nico, and Just. We will never go cave diving, but we do implore that, take care of yourselves and each other. If you do go spelunking, be careful, tell Cave Rescue where the fuck you are, and don't kidnap people by taking them to a place that they don't know where they're going. Don't do that. That shit is kind of kidnapping. It's kind of wrong. So don't do that. But also, dear listeners, please don't open that door. Bye.